Afternoon, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Wednesday, May the 4th. Well, this isn't exactly an Arkansas news story, except we are still part of these United States, I guess. It looks like Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee for president, and that, of course, has implications for Arkansas and shakes up politics a little bit everywhere. I think one thing that now comes to the fore is something that we talked about earlier this week, and that is, can Donald Trump be used as a negative against Republican candidates? He has some pretty high negative numbers, and Connor Eldridge, the Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate in Arkansas, has already called on his opponent, John Bozeman, to repudiate the things Donald Trump has said about women. A number of other U.S. Senate candidates around the United States are doing the same thing, and candidates for the House as well. A lot of people are going to be looking at this as the campaign moves forward. I do notice one happy person about the Donald Trump nomination. That would be our former governor, Mike Huckabee. As you know, Trump put his daughter to work, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, on his campaign, which was one way to make Mike Huckabee happy. Money generally does. And Huckabee says it's time for the Republicans to unite and get behind Donald Trump and beat Hillary Clinton. And what about Hillary Clinton? She lost to Bernie Sanders in the Indiana primary yesterday, but she still seems on a path to winning the Democratic nomination. The numbers are all in her favor. Sanders will stay in the race, of course. He will continue to beat on her and weaken her to a certain degree for the November election. But of course, Hillary stayed into the end in her race against Barack Obama, so what's fair for one is fair for the other. The Arkansas Legislature is moving quickly toward the finish of the budget session. It's passing budget bills mostly smoothly. It did complete action today on a bill with a controversial amendment to further punish poor people by putting further restrictions on how they can spend the tiny cash allowances that a handful of poor people get in emergency situations. The Democrats didn't try and stop that bill, although a number of them did vote against it because of the amendment that the legislature should end without too much trouble in a very short number of days, which is a good thing. The legislature is going to get a free meal tonight, I'm happy to tell you, or for their benefit. The Arkansas greyhound kennel owners are going to put a feed bag on for them tonight. A self-respecting legislator might find somewhere else to be. Greyhound racing is a dying sport at a dying track in West Memphis that makes most of its money off casino gambling. There are only 6 states left that still have legal dog tracks operating. I'd urge anybody who gets a chance to go to arkansasblog.com, our blog, and read Ernest Dumas' column for this week's print edition of the Times. It'll also be available there, about the amazing growth of corporate welfare, handouts of state and local tax money to businesses in the hopes they'll create jobs. The state of Arkansas has just proudly announced that it's going to spend something like $100 million in tax money to get a company to employ about 250 people at a pulp mill near Arkadelphia. The interesting thing is we're sending $100 million in tax money to a very rich Chinese communist. Nothing wrong with being Chinese or a communist, but it's kind of interesting to see the free enterprise system turn on its head to tap poor American taxpayers, including sales tax dollars on hamburgers in Clark County, Arkansas, to make a communist Chinese man even wealthier than he already is. We're going to have an amendment on the ballot in November, by the way, that's going to further expand corporate welfare in Arkansas and give still more money away to private business and still more money away to chambers of commerce that get high salaries while they work against policies that help working men and women. You might want to think twice before voting about that. The city board now has at least 3 candidates hoping to throw out old incumbents. Clayton Johnson joined a couple of other candidates who announced earlier, will a spirit of revolution come to City Hall? At least some people are going to try. And finally, I guess I would call this a point of personal privilege, but just about everything I say here is sort of a point of personal privilege, I suppose. I'm going to be at the Planned Parenthood of Arkansas's annual fundraiser tonight. It's a worthy cause. I'm proud to stand with them and the work they do to provide comprehensive health care for men and women, but particularly for women. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR. We are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.